everyone, Pastor Jason here. Glad to have you with us. Today, I got to preach on busyness. I told our team here today what I was preaching on. They all kind of went, ooh, and they just were immediately convicted. And I think that's true for all of us because we live busy lives, trying to fit it all in and trying to juggle all our responsibilities. And we feel so busy at times. And so today we looked at the story from Luke 10 of Mary and Martha, where Martha is so busy trying to do all these things for Jesus, and Mary is sitting at his feet and listening and absorbing and receiving from Jesus. And what we talked about is how so often we are Martha, that we find ourselves busy and distracted from Jesus. The word distracted in the original language literally has this idea of like being pulled away from Jesus. And so many times the things and responsibilities and commitments of life do that to us. And often we're carrying these burdens in our lives that fuel our busyness. We talked about 4 different burdens, trying to identify that in our lives, with the first burden being the burden of everyone's expectations. Right? We're trying to do everything everyone wants us to do. We have a hard time saying no, and that keeps us busy. We have this burden of trying to prove ourselves, wanting to do our best, to feeling like it all relies on us, and in the process we're pushing past our human limitations, and we're not pausing and resting, and we're not trusting that Jesus is in control. Which brings us to our third, is that we have this burden of control. We want to control everything around us, and that's why we do, and we try to make everything feel stable around us. When God is just asking us to trust Him in the midst of all that busyness, and underneath some of that busyness, where the fourth burden lies, is that we're sometimes afraid. Right? We're afraid we're going to fail. We're afraid that we're not going to have enough, and so we keep going and going and going, and sometimes we're so busy that because we're afraid to stop and slow down and to deal with some of the stuff that's happening in our hearts. And really, I think busyness is more of a heart issue than it is about a calendar issue. And so when we go through these busy seasons, which we all do, I'm in a busy season right now too. What we're encouraged to do is to start by reframing our perspective, being grateful for what we have. Sometimes the burdens in our lives are actually some of the biggest blessings God's given us. It's just, there's things we have to do and responsibilities we have to take care of, but being grateful in the process helps us. And the place that we really need to start is like Mary did, is to come and sit at Jesus' feet. It's to come to Jesus, to bring our weariness, to bring our burdens, and just lay it at His feet. And when we do that, that's when Jesus promises that He will give us rest. In Matthew 11:28, that's where we find that promise. And so I would encourage you today just to reflect on a couple things. The first is, what is distracting you from Jesus? What's pulling you away from Him? The second is what burden are you carrying that Jesus never asked you to carry? Is it the burden of what everyone else thinks? Is it the burden of proving yourself? Is it the burden of control? Or is it a burden of fear, worry? And then bring that and give that to Jesus. And then identify something today that can be a step for you to do the better thing, like Jesus said, the thing that Mary was doing. Maybe it's spending time 10 minutes a day with God. Maybe it's putting your phone down for a night. Maybe it's saying no to an unnecessary commitment. Maybe it's taking a day off, taking a Sabbath rest. But we all want to commit together to doing the better thing, to coming to Jesus, to receiving from Him first, receiving His rest in our lives so that we can pour out. So it's where we start, it's where we begin. And as we go through the busyness of life, when we start with Jesus, it changes how we carry all our responsibilities so that we can go and be visible evidence of His love to the world around us. So thanks for joining us today, guys. I hope you have a really great discussion with your groups, and may God bless you and speak to you. We love you. Have a great day. Bye.